DTR, he did I thought DTR looked great in the first half. Especially, had never been more pumped about a first drive of the game that didn't end in points than I was in this game.
And we all said in the chat yesterday, good drive.
Yep. Just it didn't end in a turnover, had some easy completions for him, let him kind of get the feel for the game, flipped field position a little bit. And it was a great first drive. So DTR's numbers obviously didn't look great. 4-4 on the final drive, though, to take us down the field to get the big win. I guess I just went, and then we signed Flacco, 8 minutes after the game.
Right. Which I was talking about that yesterday. The rumor was he left Friday without a contract, but was probably going to get most likely coming back today on Monday to get signed. So we kind of knew that was happening.
Yeah. So they already announced he's going to start in Denver. DTR.
Yeah.
How do you feel going forward? Do you think they signed Flacco to be the backup to DTR? Do you think 2 weeks from now he's up to speed? He's going to be the starter. What do you guys think?
Man, I think DTR is our starter. I read someone say online basically he's earned he's the starter until he's not. Like if he plays himself out of a starting job, which that's just too optimistic for that right now. Not calling that.
Yeah.
But I will say this. If it came to that, I think Flacco's got the skills to manage a game. We've got such a good defense, and we've got pieces on offense too. I mean, if you're a game manager, we can win with that.
Yeah, we can totally do that. We talked about this in Discord earlier. My take on the whole Joe Flacco DTR thing is 1 week at a time. Roll with DTR because we were talking about this yesterday during the game. He's a rookie. So what you saw yesterday, he's got so much development potential because he's so young. It's not like he's a 35-year-old quarterback and you know what you got. He is young. He is fresh. He can continue to grow. You might see big strides out of him where you're not going to see it out of a guy who's been in the league 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, it's not like we just saw DTR play his best game.
Right. But if he doesn't, say he doesn't take any strides, say he comes out and he's not very good. He starts throwing picks and turning the ball over and he's just like, this kid's just not getting it. Then you move to Flacco. The thing is, you set yourself up for a win-win. Like, Flacco's here to mentor. If he needs to come in and play, he can. And we were talking about, I think that he's good to have in the building for Deshaun, too. I think that Deshaun being around another seasoned veteran who has had success in the league, won a Super Bowl, he is a champion, like, it's just good for everybody. I see no downside in it whatsoever.
Yeah, correct.
He's a grown-up in the locker room. Mm-hmm. We saw he's still got an arm. He can still throw it a little bit. Pastor Robin here saying that we have way different takes on DTR and that DTR is not a starter in this league. I just don't think you have anything to base that on. You've watched him in 2 games. The one game he got 10 minutes heads up start that he's going to play against the best defense in football. And
with a game plan that was not tailored.
Yeah, with a game plan not for him. In this game, he did exactly what we needed to do to win a football game. Mm-hmm. And when the game was on the line, he was 4-4, took us right down the field for the game-winning points. I'm not saying he's going to grow on to be a perennial Pro Bowler. I'm not even going to say he is a long-term starter in this league. I said the sample size is not nearly big enough to just make that assessment after 2 games against 2 of the best defenses in football. Yeah. And I think the team likes him. I think they like the way he gutted it out. I think they like the way he prepares. I mean, you could tell like what it meant to him. And I think he showed a lot of fight in practice throughout the week. He's willing to put his body on the line for this team. Like, the guy is totally bought into the locker room and the guys, and I think he has the respect of the locker room, and I think you can't understate that. So I think until he proves that he's just simply not capable of being good enough for what we need him to do, he's going to be the starter.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't need him to be a long-term starting NFL caliber quarterback because as soon as next season rolls around, Deshaun's the quarterback. We said this earlier. It doesn't matter if DTR goes out and balls out the rest of the season, the Browns go to the playoffs and all this stuff. Deshaun's still our starting quarterback.
Yes.
Follow the money. That's where the money is. He's playing quarterback for the Browns. We need DTR to be good enough to not lose us games. And I think he can be, but like I said, if he ends up proving that he's not, then we just make a switch. It's not that big of a deal. You look around the NFL, how many teams are playing with backup quarterbacks right now?
A few.
A lot of teams are rolling with backup quarterbacks or young guys that they're still not sure about that they drafted or whatever to be their starter. So I don't think we're in that bad of a position, honestly, especially with our defense.
Well, you would agree DTR made improvements from game 1 to game 2, right?
Yes. He made improvements. Coach, the game plan, everything worked much better with him yesterday.
And I don't think you can look at his second game and just think it's like he's arrived and that's the pinnacle for him.
Yeah, this is all he's ever going to be able to do.
I would predict, and we've got teams that we're going to face that don't have this TJ Watt.
Correct. Again, Pastor Rob saying, including preseason, he's not great in the pass game. He was literally the best quarterback in the league in the preseason. Now, I don't think the preseason means much, but I just don't think you have enough to go off of there. That makes no sense to me. You got Quincy. I think Quincy said it the best on Twitter X after the game. Remember to be patient with DTR. The goal for him today was to not be a disaster and to win the game. He and Kevin can now build off this, just like how things started a little slow with Jacoby last year. Give him more reps and time with the receivers to adjust. We'll be okay. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying his ceiling is Deshaun or even, starter. I think his ceiling, at least he showed me enough that his ceiling is game manager.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. Okay. His only turnover yesterday was a ball that went off Amari's hands.
Yeah.